You're backed by arguably one of the greatest of all time, right?
What are we rating ourselves on? What are we rating on?
Okay.
Well, we're gonna know in the least amount of fights. You know, I didn't have to have 70 fights or 150 fights, 300 fights. Did I not beat the most world champions?
Yes, you did.
Okay. And in the least amount of fights?
Yes, you did.
Who got the highest gate?
Floyd Mayweather.
Who made the most money?
You did.
Who was the most accurate fighter of all time?
You were.
So it's basically saying that...
The greatest of all time.
Okay.
All right.
When Terence "Bud" Crawford said, "I'd stop Floyd easier than I stopped Spence," the entire boxing world erupted, but no one took it harder than Floyd Mayweather himself.
Who do you think wins in a fight, you or Prime Floyd?
Me.
No questions?
Why would you think that I would say Floyd? You know, that's one of my favorite fighters. But yeah, nah.
Within hours, Floyd's response hit social media, slick, polished, and cold as ever. But insiders say that beneath the calm surface, Floyd was furious. Because for the first time in years, someone didn't just compare themselves to him, they claimed they'd beat him. And not just beat him, stop him. Yeah, Floyd heard Crawford loud and clear. And his reaction? It wasn't just about ego. It was about pride, legacy, and the unsettling realization that the sport he once ruled might now belong to someone else. Let's break it down. The moment that shook the boxing world came just 2 nights ago on a popular podcast. Fresh off his historic win over Canelo Alvarez, Crawford was asked the kind of question fighters usually avoid. If you and Floyd were both in your prime, how would that fight go? Crawford leaned back, smiled, and dropped the line that split boxing Twitter in half. "I'd stop Floyd easier than I stopped Errol Spence. He's great, but I'm greater." That single sentence went nuclear. Within minutes, hashtags like #Crawford vs Floyd and #GOAT debate were trending worldwide. But it wasn't just Crawford's confidence that stunned.
So if he was pound for pound, Floyd was pound for pound. You or Floyd, who would have done that? Who would have won that?
Me.
Oh shit, okay, I'm just asking. Floyd was pound for pound before.
That would have been a hard fucking fight though.
Man, me versus anybody. I'm gonna always say me.
Okay.
Come on now.
People, it was how believable it sounded. Because if you've watched his career, if you saw how he dismantled Spence and then neutralized Canelo, you know this wasn't trash talk. Crawford isn't delusional, he's calculated. And Floyd knows that. See, here's the thing. Floyd Mayweather has spent his entire post-retirement era control.
You could take a guy like Canelo, this guy could do, he can pick and choose who he want to fight. And I'm gonna tell y'all the truth about Canelo. Easy, man. Easy. Y'all sitting up here, y'all praising this dude. This dude was nothing. I was almost 40 years old when I cooked this dude. Easy. Y'all always disrespecting our fighters.
Live, only on DAZN, June 28th. Jake Paul versus Chavez Jr. Buy now at DAZN.com/boxing.
Every exhibition, every headline, every interview, all carefully crafted to keep him in the spotlight. But in 2025, that control is slipping. While Floyd's busy fighting Mike Tyson in what feels more like a nostalgia tour, Terence Crawford is out here building real history. For years, critics said Floyd's career was built on perfect timing, waiting out opponents, picking the right fights, maximizing money while minimizing risk.
You think's better out of those two, Crawford or Mayweather?
I think Crawford is better, bigger. Like he's actually he moved in weight class, and I would say Crawford is a better fight all around fighter. Mayweather's really good too, though. You can knock him as well. You know, he's very talented. It would have been a tough fight, but I think Crawford would have the edge over Mayweather because of the long arms and because he's bigger. You know what I'm saying? And he would have kept him at bay. It would have been hard for Mayweather to counter, maybe. But Mayweather's definitely a technician. I mean, like Crawford said, you know, Mayweather has his era, and Crawford, this is his era.
And they weren't wrong. He was a business genius, but that brilliance came with an asterisk. Meanwhile,
and I'm gonna get a lot of too, but honestly, there could be the way where you put Crawford over Mayweather. Because of going up, you didn't see Mayweather go up from 147 to 168. That's crazy, bro. And not even, and honestly, I thought Crawford was gonna have more of a hard time because he had a hard time with Madronov. So imagine going up to it. I mean, that's crazy. I mean, but I don't want to take nothing away from Mayweather. Mayweather is the greatest of all time. But I think that was a really big risk that Crawford took, and then he ended up winning. You know what I mean? So you have to give credit to that too. I mean, that's a big risk. That's like that'd be like me going up and fighting Usyk right now, heavyweight.
I know that's been kind of hinted.
I'm not thinking of that right now. I'm not thinking of that right now. No, but that's kind of like how that'd be. You know what I mean? So you have to, bro. That's a lot of he has a lot of balls to do that, and not only to go do that to show the world that he's really like that.
Crawford's doing the opposite. He's taking on dangerous opponents in their prime, jumping weight classes, chasing legacy over comfort. He's doing what fans always wished Floyd would do, taking real risks. And now he's calling Floyd out, not for attention, but for validation. But here's where it gets even deeper. Sources close to Mayweather Promotions say Floyd feels personally disrespected, not because of what Crawford said, but because of who said it. Remember, Floyd discovered Gervonta Tank Davis.
Terence Crawford is the best fighter on the planet. Pound for pound, he's that dude. In this 4-belt era, he is now the undisputed world champion 3 times over. 140 pounds, 147, now 168 pounds, claiming all the belts. You don't see people doing that very often. Going up against a guy who was perceived as being bigger and stronger, Crawford was strong. Crawford was strong enough to fend him off, strong enough to make him respect his own power. He used his jab, he used his distance. He had poise in the ring, he wasn't rattled. He backed up and moved when necessary and kept us different. He exchanged enough to gain respect when necessary. It was a brilliant, brilliant, masterful fight on Terence Crawford's.
Mentored him and built an empire around loyalty. But Crawford? He never needed Floyd, never trained under him, never signed to him, never followed his blueprint. He became a superstar completely on his own, something few fighters have ever done. So now the question is, was Floyd's response fair? Or did Crawford just expose a truth the boxing world's been avoiding? That maybe, just maybe,
I beat this guy. It's his excuse. I beat this guy. You know, he's too young or whatever. So I'm never really going to give my full respect until afterwards. Yes, you know, it's a lot of people that's changing their narrative. Like, man, y'all watching something great right now, and we not appreciating it. And it's sad to say that we waking up at the tail end of his career. You know, we really didn't realize it until now when he's like doing extraordinary stuff, like going up 2 weight classes to fight the best fighter in that division, the #1 guy that's the face of boxing, you know. And the way that I handled that, people like, oh man, something had to be wrong. Canelo had to be washed, or Canelo just wasn't in it. And I see people saying, oh, Turkey paid for Canelo to lose, you know. So I just think, you know, when you that much better than the competition, you know, people not going to give you credit until they sit down and look at it and just be like, man, that dude was good.
What do you think, fight fans? Has the passing of the torch already happened, or does Floyd still sit atop boxing's mountain? Drop your thoughts below, hit like, share, and subscribe because this debate is far from over.